Hey everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. Raw After Mania was fantastic. Go watch that video here on the channel. So we need to talk about the closing moments of this show. They did a really good job of misdirecting us because we didn't know when this show was going off the air. Normally these shows end right at about 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. It blew past that, and it was really interesting. You think that CM Punk, like Seth's gonna just stand tall over CM Punk. Roman shows up, then Bron Breakker shows up. It's just a wild sequence of events, and Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins are aligned with Paul Heyman, the Paul Heyman guy group. And whatever this is going to be, this is going to be one of the big stories of WWE for 2025. Seth Rollins as a top heel, Bron Breakker there clearly being molded into the next guy, because that's clearly what this is going to be about. The next year is going to be about Bron Breakker and taking him to that next level. So the question becomes, what is this group going to look like? Is this it with just Rollins, Heyman, and Bron Breakker, or do we add a female member? Becky Lynch is an easy pick there, considering she's married to Seth Rollins. That's an obvious move. Does this become a long-term thing with Rock and Cena? I doubt it, based off of Rock's inability to commit to anything, but whatever. It'll be interesting to see if they potentially call up an NXT guy and put him in this group. Because that would be a good spot. It just feels like, this might be the new Shield. And it just in a different format, with Seth really being like, because remember, in the Shield, there really wasn't a leader. There wasn't a leader. So what makes this fascinating is you have Paul Heyman leading this thing as the wise man. And now effectively, this might be just like it might be a Shield, it might be a bloodline, whatever it is, it's very interesting. And I love this for Seth, first of all, because Seth has been, putting in the work forever. And really, in some cases, like especially with Roman being on top of WWE for so long since COVID, Seth's been doing really good work, but he's almost always been a bridesmaid and not a bride. And that's really what it was, because even with Cody, like he kept losing to Cody on Cody's return. He was in a match with Logan Paul. Like he lost to Cesaro at a WrestleMania, for God's sake. And that's not to knock on Cesaro. I was thrilled that Cesaro won, but Seth has lost his fair share of matches. So getting a win in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, and now being not the de facto, but he is the absolute heel. And now you've got a backup in Bron Breakker. You've got Paul Heyman with you. This is going to be great. And what happens from here is just going to be really interesting. Like, does Seth end up getting the championship? And does this lead to, maybe they're forming with Triple H, maybe they're forming an evolution. And ultimately, here's what I think is going to stack up at some point. I firmly believe that what is going to become of this situation is that Bron Breakker is going to be crowned, I think, at WrestleMania 42 as World Heavyweight, WWE Champion, whatever. Bron Breakker is going to win a championship next year. He's going to be world champion. That's what this is about. Because why else even try this? Because you've got Seth establishing himself as a heel. You have a whole year to let this thing marinate, and then have the payoff next year with Bron Breakker and the dogs barking and going crazy, and the genetic freak getting crowned. Because everybody that I have talked to around the business, everybody I've talked to on podcasts, and all my friends, the universal belief is that Bron Breakker is the next guy. He is the next big thing. Bron Breakker is, honest to God, in terms of genetic freak and things that he can do in the ring, is maybe the closest thing to Brock Lesnar. He's the closest thing to Brock Lesnar, because he does things and has athletic abilities for guys at 250 pounds that most people cannot do. So I knew that from the moment that that Intercontinental title match was made at WrestleMania in a Fatal 4-Way, Braun was losing the title, and we were going to start this whole build to getting to the next phase for him. And it was shocking, really, to see them go immediately off of that And, like I said, you in some cases, with the credits going up, it was almost like, "Hey, are we going off the air? Is that it?" And then Roman shows up. But for him to get that type of moment, a shocking thing to save Paul Heyman, which there is story there because Heyman backed him up in NXT a while back. He kills Roman, and then he kills Roman through the barricade, and it's just the three of them is standing tall. So the two big things to really look out for moving forward is that um, is there going to be another guy or another girl or whatever? I feel like this is going to be building for most of the year, and you're going to have more people be revealed, and that's going to be the compelling start of this story. And then the biggest thing to take away from this whole entire thing is that Bron Breakker is going to be crowned in short order. That's what this is about. The guy's 26, 27 years old, and he's already one of the best in the business. And everybody knows that they got a diamond in the rough. They got an absolute like future legend on their hands. Like we've seen what this guy can do and what he's been able to do. Like he might have spent a little bit too much time in NXT, but they understand what this regime understands over the previous regime is, hey, we're not going to overexpose him. And so putting him in this group at the top of the card after he had a great couple runs with the Intercontinental Championship. So he's already been established. He's won a championship. He was a great NXT champion. So he's already done a lot in WWE. And so now you put him with Seth Rollins, top star, who's going to be a top heel, can get heat, and it'll be interesting to see how that gets portrayed. You're with Paul Heyman. You let this cook for a while, and then you have it marinate further down the line. And then Braun can get his crowning moment as a badass babyface, much like Batista did when he broke off from Evolution. That's what I see this becoming. And Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they love to call back old storylines. So maybe this is Evolution. That's what this is. And that's why I think maybe an NXT guy would work in, this new faction that they're going to form. And maybe they make it 4 because that's what Evolution was. Granted, there was a veteran in Ric Flair there. So maybe Paul Heyman is the veteran there and it's not a non-wrestling capacity. And that's the way that they do this. But maybe it's the new Evolution. But I think the big beneficiary from this whole thing is Bron Breakker. And I'm excited to see it. That was a very great and compelling ending to start. Like, basically, this was like they talk about the season premieres, but let's get real. The Raw After Mania is the season premiere. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, all the 1,100 of you that have subscribed to the channel. We're going to keep this thing growing. Let's keep it growing, man. Like I said, it's a 1-year anniversary of doing these segments and really rebooting this YouTube channel. It'll be July as the anniversary. I started with 5 subscribers. We're over 1,100. Everybody who's pumped up this channel, everybody who's done great things for this channel, who's subscribed, who's been on my live streams, you guys are all fucking awesome. I just want you to know that. And I truly am humbled and appreciate you. Thank you for helping me get through this WrestleMania weekend. Go get some sleep. I'm hopefully going to get a whole bunch of sleep, even though, there's never sleep in the pro wrestling world. There's never sleep in the sports world. There's always something to do. So I'll be back here with more stuff in shorter, but thank you. I appreciate it. I will see you guys. Bye.